Would you please welcome with me, Phil Lees.
What we want to talk about today is back at that time, 95, 96, there was some curriculum issues. Sex ed, maybe some novels, things like that. But in 2005, Canada Supreme Court passed same-sex marriage. I'd like to show you a video right now. We talked about the mid-90s. We did some research and we found out teachers were being instructed on how to bring in, at that time, a positive lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered message into the schools.
Tomorrow, Thursday, is Gay and Lesbian Pride Day. I want to start with you talking a little bit about what you're going to do tomorrow at Gay and Lesbian Pride Day.
And I don't know what to do about this, but as a school, are we saying that the kids have to support this? I mean, I guess that's what it sounds like to me, that we're saying if a child comes from a background that says that homosexuality is not correct, are we telling that child that they're supposed to? This is what you're supposed to do?
And I don't know if this works for you, but I think that we are asking kids to believe that this is right.
Imagine if every time I went to play soccer, I had to hide my right shin. I might hide it like this. And then I try to play soccer. It wouldn't be easy, but I could do it. At CFS, I don't have to hide. So I can play soccer with two legs. At CFS, I can tell the truth that I'm a gay man. And that gives me so much more energy to be a better teacher, to be a better co-worker, and to be a better friend. I'll see you on the soccer pitch.
How did the video make you feel? There's an organization called GELSON, Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network. There is a GELSON Hawai'i. I didn't know that until I was here after the conversation with Cal. So I did some research and I found out this information here. And Governor Wallace Ryder Farrington High School established the GSA Club, and they were given an international award. When they passed Bill 157, they said the school boards must, and the schools must build positive relationships with the LGBT support organizations. The new health curriculum that came out in 2010 was very controversial. In grade 1, students would have to be able to identify the genitalia of male and females. Grade 2 and 3, we're going to talk about sexual orientation and gender fluidity. The fact that you may think that you're male or female, but being male or female has much more to do with the clothes you wear, the music you listen to, the activities you participate in, than it has to do with your anatomy. And that you can choose to change your gender as you go through life. That's grade 2. Grade 4, puberty. We're going to talk about puberty. Well, that used to be done in grade 6. We're kind of moving that up now. Grade 6, personal pleasure. And that's what it's taught. That's the term used to investigate ourselves in grade 6, sexually. Grade 7, anal and oral sex. Teachers must do this. And if they don't, a school board can take action. And teachers can be forced to go to homosexual sensitization classes. And there is even the potential for being fired. If you're going to change the attitudes and values of society, you've got to have some significant strategies. And here are the 3 strategies, and these are the same strategies that are going to be in your legislation. Student club activities. Okay, so we're going to have GSA clubs, just like what happened at Farrington. They will be legislated. In Ontario, high schools must have GSA clubs. Sexual lifestyle curriculum being integrated, every subject, every grade level. And thirdly, and I don't know what it's like here in Hawaii, but we have thousands of small churches that rent school facilities. You will not be allowed to rent those facilities unless you embrace the provincial or state code of conduct and state values. I want to share with you the person who's an advocate, American, Dan Savage, who's an advocate for the LGBT community and for Gay Straight Alliance clubs. I want to share with you these Gay Straight Alliance clubs, and we have this happening in Canada, they have the right, they've been given authority to have assemblies in schools.
The Bible. We'll just talk about the Bible for a second. People often point out that they can't help it. They can't help with the anti-gay bullying, because it says right there in Leviticus, it says right there in Timothy, it says right there in Romans that being gay is wrong. We can learn to ignore the in the Bible about gay people the same way we have learned to ignore the Bible about shellfish, about slavery, about dinner, about farming, about menstruation, about virginity, about masturbation. We ignore the Bible about all sorts of things. The Bible is a radically pro-slavery document. Slave owners waved Bibles over their heads during the Civil War and justified it. The shortest book in the New Testament is a letter from Paul to a Christian slave owner about owning his Christian slave. And Paul doesn't say Christians don't own people. Paul talks about how Christians own people. We ignore what the Bible says about slavery because the Bible got slavery wrong.
Here are posters in our schools. We're here, we're queer, and we're in your school. I just don't see that as an inclusive message if we're having an inclusive school. Here's another one. Does this really respect our values as well? Love has no gender. And we have female, female, male, male. We have male, female, male. If a parent asks to be informed about sensitive curriculum, what should I do? You are not to inform the families. You are creating an inclusive classroom. And when you allow a child to leave the room because information is offensive to those parents, you are discriminating against that community. And this could be done in grade 1 or grade 2. It could be done in grade 3, depending on the experience of the students and where they're starting. We're going to read the book, Gloria Goes to Gay Pride. And we're going to have a discussion about different kinds of love and different kinds of families. And then in grade 1, I'm going to give you some books, some magazines, to cut out some pictures of different kinds of families and different kinds of love so that you demonstrate to me that you understand this. So this is a knowledge level expectation. Now here, let me share with you, I'm going to give you the magazines which have been brought in by the LGBT community. We're going to cut the pictures out, glue them down, put them in place, decorate the classroom, because next week we're going to celebrate Gay Pride, which is a celebration of families. If a child, even in high school, just raises his head and says, you know, I accept the fact that people have these choices, and I'm not judging them. But even if they don't say, I'm a person of faith, if they say, I choose and will choose to live a heterosexual lifestyle because of the medical issues around increased sexual activity, the child will be identified as homophobic, that will be identified as being discriminatory against people who choose to live differently, and the child will be disciplined. I'll tell you what's happened in Ontario and what I'm hearing in other countries. Human Rights Commission in Ontario and in Canada has said, once we fix the secular, public, and Catholic schools, private schools are next, and homeschoolers are after that.